five boy being in the Rayid work primarily an extension of one boy's capacity to feel, three boys' capacity for the examination of options or possibility, and five boys' ability to be able to make a decision about which possibility and which feeling to experience. So five boy can make nearly an infinite number of choices, and that always involves 1, 3, and 5. They're always operating together as a unit, even though we put them in a vertical sequence of 1 boy, 3 boy, 5 boy, but they operate together. So the 3 boy function is the act of the desire to discover that has boundaries based on the possibilities, and those possibilities are typically within the range of senses. So essentially, the mind operates primarily, until otherwise trained to do so, it operates within the range of senses. That's the 3 boy function of the mind. It uses sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, texture, and then it operates within that range. If we stay there and we discover, there are many valid things that can be explored and discovered within the 3 boy range of examining the possibility, and that's called intellectual discovery or knowledge. So the amount of things that are possible only increases when you engage 5 boy. 5 boy is the personal discovery that something exists beyond 3 boy. Meaning that 5 boy uses the intellectual logical functions of the 3 boy and says, I believe that there's something beyond the mind. There are ranges beyond the senses, so we know that there are ranges of sound or sight or smells that are available beyond the human senses. Bloodhounds can smell more, birds can see more, and all of the senses are related to the 3 boy function. So the 5 boy has to do with elevating the diameter of possibility. So it can elevate the diameter of possibility really by opening up its relationship to 6 girl. 5 boy is mother's father's father. 6 girl, his wife, mother's father's mother, which is the ability to be able to open the upper canopies of possibility. It opens the invisible range. So a 5 boy has a belief system that the invisible is real, meaning other spectrums of light, sound, smell, taste, and so on are possible, or that the spirit world or invisible realms are possible, even though they can't be measured by sensory experiences. To me, this is the first act of faith. So when 5 boy engages the function of 6 girl, which is faith, then it expands the range of creativity or imagination available to the choices. So then the number of choices that 5 boy makes increases exponentially by the degrees of faith that 5 boy operates from. But 5 boy is the ability to set into motion. This is the act of creativity. It can be a creative act with the hand to craft something physically. It can be a creative act with the mind to perceive or to understand something. Or it can be engaging the actions of the body to emotionally produce an outcome. The 5 boy time is that hour, 2 hours actually, before sunrise. But sunrise is the action of 2 boys set in motion by 5 boy. So every creative choice produces an action. The action that it's going to send energy towards has to come from the logical possibility of 3 boy and the emotional humility of one boy. So if you combine the desire to feel and grow in one boy, and you combine that with the love of truth in 3 boy, then 5 boy can tell 2 boy what to send energy into. A gesture, a posture, a thought, a feeling, an imagination, an art form. So all of the possible physical outcomes that 2 boy can express or become, they're preceded by the choices made by 5 boy. The problem exists if there are already compulsive actions set in motion and held by the one girl, then most of 2 boys' actions are following through on the compulsions of prior memory. So 5 boy is involved in creating all future memory. That simply means the consistency of enough free will choice directed toward an action produces, in the long term, a memory that now is fed back into the physical system by the one girl. So 1 boy, 3 boy, 5 boy has to do with the constant creation of future memory. And that's the power of 5 boys. What future memory do I want to explore or experience? Now, ideally, theoretically, we're saying, well, if I want to do that, then I would use my 6 girl faith and go, I want my choice to be in alignment with the divine experience of what my actual 5 boy can do. Because 5 boy doesn't know everything. It only sets in motion its future knowing. So if I'm 5 boy and I believe in the existence of the divine, and I want to use future-oriented divine principles, even though I can't see them, I set them in motion through practice or choice, and eventually I will achieve a higher outcome because I've utilized the principles of choice, aligned through faith, to the origin of a larger diameter possibility called the divine. To me, that's basically what we're here for. We're here to make free will choices and experience the outcomes of our choices. So that's a 5 boy function. Part of that is to respect one's individuality, because 5 boy theoretically operates from the principle of being unique unto itself, meaning that all 5 boy principles is that every soul is completely unique. But that's only a theoretical experience based on the faith that God has created not carbon copies of souls, but a diversity of souls. So the 5 boy function is, how do I accelerate my individuality? Which means, how do I become my authentic self? So this is the 5 boy function, how the feeling experience of the one boy's aspiration through humility accelerates the permeability of the 3 boy understanding, but engages the logic of 3 boy to extend beyond the mind, to become a new creator through the creativity of free will. Then whatever I create automatically sets in motion a feedback system. If I am a 5 boy and I set something in motion, that becomes an action. That's 2 boy. That's movement, that's change. That movement and change is like a wave that goes out and it moves other people. If it moves other people in the 4-boy world or the 3-girl community function, it obviously triggers a whole series of reactions in my 3-girl community or my 4-boy extended environment, friends and country. Now it starts to feed back to me. The repercussions, like echo sounding, comes back to me to give me a law of attraction event that is an automatic feedback system. Then this automatic feedback system extends beyond the mind to extend into the spirit world at 6-boy, so that whatever I'm doing with my 5-boy is now extended into the invisible realms, which is where these spirits in the spirit world are affected by my choices, or they utilize my unloving choices as fuel for their own actions. So if I'm a 5-boy and I choose rage, and I send it into my community at 3-girl and my country at 4, and I send it globally out at 5, and I send it beyond the boundaries of Earth at 6, I'm sending into the spirit world my rage. Now that's going to give me an automatic feedback system of bringing me the law of attraction for the thing that I've set in motion. That's how the 5-boy function works. That's why it's so important. So there can be active choices or passive choices. The passive choices would go to the 2-girl function, where I might want to be passive because of shame or guilt or confusion or the existence of despair, and I stay in my 5-boy choice of confusion, despair, all the things, or grief, the things that people commonly stay in. Then I go into a passive experience that goes to 2-girl function. That begins a gradual disintegration of my own self-image and the systems that support my ability to receive at 4-girl. And it now begins a slow process of breaking down my existence that creates a cancer-like experience set in motion by my 5-boy. So cancer-oriented self-sabotages are set in motion by 5-boy. Violent experiences externally, going into actions like rage, I can be attacking my own body and my own heart at 4, but I'll be attacking other people when I start to project it, and then that will hit walls of limits and come back as a sudden shock. Breaking of a bone, breaking of the heart, breaking of the brain, stroke, a heart attack. So the outward bound emotions bounce back as sudden events, whereas those I send into myself by 5-boy choices to demean myself is a gradual accumulation that shuts down my own body. 5-boy. So there's lots of different ways to utilize the 5-boy function, because it's easy to say it's associated with thought and words. So the use of words is a creative function, but it's also things that we sing, or just simply choices we make. Private choices we make affect us, but private attitudes of sending thought towards someone else, a cynicism, a criticism, a snicker of something, a silent rage towards something, these are choices made within the 5-boy that have repercussions that are either gradual or cumulative, that are even shocking or cancerous in some way. So really it's what is 5-boy? Well, 5-boy is the divine gift of free will that must operate within a cocoon. That cocoon is our physical body mind function. Meaning in the same way that my 5-boy cannot change my height, can't change my blood type, can't change my fingerprint and any other basic biological functions that are very deeply enabled, such as my iris, I'm going to be operating within a containment field defined by my 5-boy. 5-boy is a containment field. And the reason it's a containment field is I'm not given the right to damage broader and broader amounts of space or people or situations. I'm kept within a cocoon. And so how I use my free will shapes my energy field so that when I leave, I take all the memories of the choices I've made, and that is my degree. That's my orbit field. Now, if my orbit field is unloving, it sets in a particular location that is exactly like anybody else who had the same pattern. If it's slightly more loving, then it's in a slightly higher location. If it's noticeably more loving and caring, then it's in a much higher condition. So my free will determines my outcome in the spirit world. The choices I'm going to make, the diameter of my cocoon, or the fluidity of my capacity to be able to make choices in the spirit world about who I am, what I am, where I go, can I travel, can I fly, can I feel. So that's the nature of 5-boy. The number of things that can be described about it, I can go on, because one of the functions about it has to be observed relative to its diagonals. Meaning 5-boy is connected to 4-boy. 5-boy is connected to 3-boy. 5-boy is connected to 2-boy. 5-boy is connected to 6-boy. So it's connected in one conduit or another to all 6 of the boys. It's just a matter of, what choices I make sets in motion an energy that is either local or galactic. And then as it extends further and further into the universe, the amount of energy that's extended back to me is either in harmony with divine design or it's not. If it's not in harmony, there is a repercussion. If it is in harmony, there is a repercussion. Meaning that every single choice we make, even when we don't make a choice, is going to give us a cause-effect result. So if I examine my relationship to 3-boy, I recognize that 3-boy has a function, truth. Then if I orient that truth to a higher function beyond 6-girl, that's the desire to have a truth from the divine. That's called faith. So if I look at 4-boy, 4-boy is how I'm using my energy most locally related about how I'm sending my energy out to a group of people that I may choose as friends. Or I'm going to be sending out energy in a smaller diameter socially. That's called a national group, a country. 6-boy goes past the boundaries of a social group and goes past the potentiality of the earth, because 5-girl is global, but 6-boy is beyond global. So when I make a choice, I'm actually using my 6-boy as a transmitter to all of the visible and invisible realms. Then it's just an automatic cause-effect result, and we're back to 5-boy. So basically that's 5.